Hey Ronnie. Okay, basically what you're going to want to do is bring your document into Photoshop, and since you want to use a sepia tone on this image, first you need to convert it to black and white by using your adjustments panel. If you don't have an adjustments panel, just go to Window, Adjustments, it'll show up somewhere. You're going to use your black and white option. These right here will basically allow you to change the certain tones of the image and bring their level of darkness or lightness by moving the little slider there. You probably won't want to change that much with this right now. For an example, this is what happens with the green, which is you have a really green hue in the background. It's really spotty, not something you're probably going to want showing in your image. The next step that I would take would be, if you choose to use this photo filter, on my screen, I'm using filter number 85, and on my screen, actually, the only hot spot I would be concerned about is right here. I remember in your print, this area was kind of hot. So I don't know, maybe it's just a printing difference between your screen and my screen and the printer. But anyway, just to show you an example of what the masking will do, I'm going to turn this way, way, way up, like ludicrously high. Basically, the short version of what a masking layer is it's an erasing layer that allows you to put your image back to normal, like if you should screw it up. So, for example, I'm going to take my brush tool. You can push the brush tool or select it by pushing B. And I'm going to use a black brush. And I'll turn the opacity a little bit high also so that you can see what I'm going to do here. And in doing that, you'll see that the color of the image is starting to fade away. And you'll know that you're successfully using a layer mask when this layer here changes. So for example, so I just spelled out your name, and like if you could zoom in on that, you would see that it shows up there. And like if you don't like what you're doing, you can put that information back in the image by using your white brush. So it's a really neat tool, a really neat option for you to do. A different way to use a coloring fill, which I would prefer, is using the solid color fill. And I've already selected a color, and I think this one will work nicely. And you will change your blending mode, which is found here, to soft light. You can play around with the other ones like darken or like multiply, things like that, to give it a different feel. Like that's really neat, I think. But soft light is the closest, I think, to what you're going for. And if you decide that you don't like the colors, all you have to do is double click, and if you go lighter, it will bring your image brightness way up. If you go darker, it'll turn it down, and you'll also lose color. But I chose a pretty neutral area so that the brightness of the image wouldn't change. Some things that outside of this that you might want to do, first I'm going to copy the background layer. I noticed that when I zoom in a little bit, it's not super defined right here, so I'd like to maybe make that a little bit sharper. And you can do that by going to Filter, let's see, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask, and using the sliders to kind of determine how sharp you want them to be. If you click and hold, it shows you the original image, and then if you let go, it shows you the altered image, which I think this is a little bit nicer from a distance. So I'm going to push OK, and then you can zoom in here and you'll see, and if you choose you don't like that or decide that you don't like that, you can turn the layer mask on by using this button here. And in turning the layer mask on, it operates the same way as it did before, where you use your brush tool to erase what you just did, or you can use your brush tool with the white setting and bring it back. Okay. Another thing that I think would be kind of interesting is I lose some detail here, and if you're interested, I think it would be kind of interesting to bring some of that back. And in using a curve layer with a mask, you can alter this a little bit more. So I'm basically just darkening the background just a hair. And obviously this is like a really dramatic, that's way too dramatic. I'm going to bring it down to like 30 or 23, I guess. And bring some of that information back in, maybe not that much. And then, you know, keeping this a little bit darker. And then maybe bringing the freckles back. I really love freckles, so I'm kind of a freak for them. Another thing I think would be really interesting too is if you use the new layer button here and you change it to overlay. The layer now operates with your brush tool as if it's a dodging and burning layer. So I'm going to turn my opacity around like 10 and just kind of bring in some of the highlights and lowlights to get some really like dramatic lighting on the hair, because it's really pretty beautiful. Okay, so just very light, nothing super crazy. And then I'll use the black brush, which again is here, and just kind of make some more defined areas. That way you feel like the image is more 3D than what you're actually seeing. Another part of the image I'd like to burn in a little bit is in her hands up here. This is the hot spot that I was really concerned with. You can still see detail, and by adding that burning layer you get even more detail. I mean, you don't want to go overboard, but I think it matches the tonality of the rest of the image a little bit more. Another area I'd like to dodge means to make lighter, is the collarbone area, and then right around here. You want there to be similar tonality in this part of the image and this part of the image, I think, so that way you keep your interest. Since this braid actually draws me up into this part of the image, and then I stay here and then I shoot across to here. In making areas of similar tones, it helps your eye, it guides it through a little better. Let's see, what else did I want to show you that I can't remember? Oh yeah, okay. Another thing I noticed too, and this is me just, you know, wanting to like regurgitate my mind into your mind for like 2 seconds. I'm going to use the J button, or the J key on my keyboard, which is going to give me this patch layer. Using the patch tool, I want to kind of take some of these little random hairs that I'm seeing out, and basically how I'm doing that is I'm selecting the area and then I drag it to a new area, just to like be nitpicky and like clean it up, in case you're wondering like how to do that and you're not quite sure. It's a pretty easy peasy technique. Whoops. I use a Wacom tablet though, so it helps quite a bit with these like fine details of editing. So basically what I did, you'll notice a change right here and right here. I just took out some of those hairs. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick example of what it's going to look like full screen. If anyone else wants to send me an email with an image to haleyfrostphotography@gmail.com, I can edit for you in real time, and then I'll post it up on YouTube. So again, haleyfrostphotography@gmail.com. Send me your name, your info, and then your image, and then also send me what you would like to have done with your image, or what you would like to see me do. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.